Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher were one of the hottest and least likely Hollywood couples in the early 2000s. Despite the 15-year age difference, the pair looked poised to last. But after 8 years together, their marriage crumbled over cheating allegations. The first report, which claimed Kutcher had cheated on Moore with a 21-year-old woman named Brittany Jones at their shared home while she was busy working on a movie on the East Coast, surfaced in 2010.
Demi Moore, one of Hollywood's most famous and stunning actresses, has lived her life in the spotlight. But behind the glamorous red carpets and flashing cameras, there was a story the world never truly knew.
This week, Demi Moore is on GMA, and she's telling us about her life like we've never heard it before. Today, she talks to Diane about her marriages to Bruce Willis and Ashton Kutcher, and how the old fears from her turbulent childhood caught her by surprise.
When she married the young and charming Ashton Kutcher, people thought it was a fairy tale romance. However, what really happened behind closed doors was something only Demi knew. Now, at 62, she is breaking her silence, and what she's revealing is leaving everyone in shock. Demi's life has never been simple. She has seen fame, found love, and faced heartbreak. After her divorce from Bruce Willis, she thought she might never find happiness again. But then, Ashton came along. Their relationship became one of the most talked about in Hollywood. They were on magazine covers, walked red carpets hand in hand, and seemed like the perfect couple. But behind the dazzling smiles, the truth was far different. Now, Demi is finally speaking out through her book and interviews, sharing what really went on in their marriage. The lonely nights, the painful realizations, and the moments when she felt like just another chapter in someone else's story instead of a true partner. And as people hear her side, one question keeps echoing: was this really the love story everyone believed it to be? So, what shocking truth has Demi finally revealed? Was Ashton Kutcher really the man the world thought he was? And why did she keep these secrets for so long? Stay tuned, because this is a story you don't want to miss. Demi Moore thought she had found love again. At 40, she was picking up the pieces after a painful divorce when Ashton Kutcher walked into her life. He was young, full of charm, and made her believe in happiness once more.
She is 40 years old, and it's at this point one night she goes to a dinner and meets a young actor and entrepreneur named Ashton Kutcher.
But what seemed like a perfect love story soon turned into her darkest struggle. Now at 62, she is finally sharing the truth, the secret miscarriage, the choices she regrets, and the addiction that nearly ended her life. This is the real story of Demi and Ashton. Born on November 11, 1962, in Roswell, New Mexico, Demi's childhood was far from easy. Her father left before she was born, and her mother struggled to take care of her. Life became even harder when, at just 15, she suffered a terrible betrayal. In her memoir, she revealed that her mother allowed an older man to harm her for $500. That trauma left deep emotional wounds she carried for years. Her home was unstable, both parents drank too much, and they moved constantly, over 30 times before she turned 14. She never felt safe or settled. At 12, she faced something no child should ever go through. Her mother attempted to take her own life. Demi, with her small hands, had to pull the pills from her mother's mouth while her stepfather held her back. That moment changed her forever, forcing her to grow up before her time. School wasn't any better. She struggled with dyslexia and had to undergo surgeries for an eye condition. At 16, she finally dropped out and decided to survive on her own. She took on different jobs, working as a model and even collecting debts, just to make ends meet. Demi Moore's journey has been filled with hardship, but she has never stopped fighting. Now, as she opens up about her past, the world is finally learning the truth about the struggles hidden behind her Hollywood smile. At just 17, Demi Moore married rock musician Freddie Moore, hoping for a fresh start. But the marriage lasted only 4 years, and she soon realized that escaping her past wasn't so simple. Still, she refused to give up. She had big dreams and was determined to make them come true. By 19, Demi got her first real break in Hollywood. She landed a role in the soap opera General Hospital as journalist Jackie Templeton. More than 1,000 actresses auditioned, but Demi's talent made her stand out. She earned just $750 per episode, but this small role was the start of something much bigger. Jackie was a strong, independent character rare for women on TV at the time. Viewers loved her and producers took notice, but behind the scenes, Demi was struggling. She was caught in a dangerous cycle of partying and addiction. She often stayed out for days, losing control. Director Joel Schumacher saw her potential and stepped in. He knew she had talent, but if she didn't change, she would lose everything.
The late, great Joel Schumacher helped us both get sober at different times. He was a great friend, a huge influence.
When she was cast in St. Elmo's Fire, he gave her a choice: get sober or lose the role. Demi chose to fight. With support, she stayed clean, and the studio even hired someone to stay by her side during filming to keep her on track. In 1985, St. Elmo's Fire became a hit. The movie followed a group of friends trying to navigate adulthood. Starring alongside Demi were rising stars like Rob Lowe and Emilio Estevez. She played Jules, a party girl with struggles of her own, a character that, in many ways, reflected her real life. The film made Demi a part of the famous Brat Pack, a group of young actors dominating Hollywood in the 1980s. While the nickname wasn't always welcomed by the actors, it brought them fame and attention. Demi's success didn't stop there. She starred in About Last Night and Ghost, the film that made her a household name. Decades later, the Brat Pack's legacy still lives on. In 2024, a documentary called Brats was released, where Demi and her co-stars looked back on that unforgettable time in their careers. There are even talks of a St. Elmo's Fire sequel, possibly bringing back the original cast, including Demi. Through struggles and triumphs, Demi Moore proved that no matter how hard life gets, there's always a way to rise again. In 1990, Demi Moore starred in Ghost, a movie that became a huge success. It made $55.7 million worldwide, despite having a small budget of only $22 to $23 million. It became the highest-grossing movie of that year and was the third highest-grossing film of all time at that point. People loved it so much that it became the most rented video in the US in 1991. Demi played Molly Jensen in Ghost, and her performance really touched viewers. One of the most unforgettable moments was the pottery wheel scene with Patrick Swayze, set to the song Unchained Melody. This scene is still considered one of the most famous moments in movie history. Her short haircut in the movie also started a fashion trend, with women everywhere trying to copy her look. The movie's success wasn't just professional, it was personal too.
It was fantastic because when you guys are doing the pottery and you're just with that little short haircut, it makes you believe in romance.
Reading it on paper.
Yeah, how was it when you read it?
These three components, like I thought this is either going to be amazing or an absolute disaster.
While Ghost was breaking box office records, Demi's husband, Bruce Willis, also had a hit movie, Die Hard 2. At one point, their two movies were the top two films in theaters, a rare achievement for any married Hollywood couple. The success of Ghost earned Demi a Golden Globe nomination and a Saturn Award for Best Actress, showing how much both fans and critics admired her work. Ghost wasn't just a love story, it mixed romance, comedy, and supernatural elements in a new and exciting way. Its success proved that movies with unique ideas could be big hits, encouraging filmmakers to get more creative in their storytelling. After Ghost, Demi continued to shine in big roles. In 1992, she starred with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, which made over $243 million worldwide. She played Lieutenant Commander Joanne Galloway and proved she could hold her own in a serious, male-dominated film. In 1993, Demi starred in Indecent Proposal, a movie that sparked debates about morality and relationships. It made nearly $267 million. And while her performance was praised, the movie also faced criticism for its treatment of women. Despite the backlash, Demi kept taking on bold roles, challenging society's expectations of women. She took even bigger risks in the mid-1990s with two controversial films. In 1996, she starred in Striptease, where she played a stripper. The movie caused a lot of buzz because of its daring content and Demi's nude scenes. She was paid $12.5 million for the role, making her the highest-paid actress in Hollywood at that time. The following year, in G.I. Jane, Demi played the first woman to undergo Navy SEAL training. She shaved her head on camera, did many of her own stunts, and worked hard to build muscle. These two films showed different sides of Demi. In Striptease, she embraced her femininity and sexuality, while in G.I. Jane, She took on a tough, masculine role. These roles sparked debates about gender in Hollywood, with Demi reflecting that while playing a stripper upset women, playing a soldier upset men. Though both films made her more famous, the controversy and public criticism affected her deeply. In her 2019 memoir, Demi shared that this time marked the beginning of a difficult period in her life.
Really centered in my soul.
Yeah.
And it's scary because it's not like a character that I'm coming out to talk about.
Right.
It's me.
Demi Moore's life was filled with struggles, including dealing with substance abuse and body image issues. Her personal journey took a big turn when she married musician Freddie Moore at just 17 years old. They got married on February 8, 1980. Demi later admitted that she didn't marry Freddie because of love, but to escape the pain of losing her stepfather. In fact, she revealed in her memoir, Inside Out, that the night before the wedding, instead of feeling excited, she was talking to another man she had met on a movie set. From the start, the marriage felt like it might not work. She took Freddie's last name and used it as her stage name for her entire career. They even worked together on some songs like It's Not a Rumor, which became a small hit. However, their relationship was difficult. Demi was still very young, trying to figure out who she was while in this adult relationship. She later admitted that she sabotaged the marriage, knowing deep down that it wasn't the right choice. They divorced in 1985, and it left a lasting impact on her, shaping how she viewed love, trust, and herself. Demi's love story with Bruce Willis began in 1987, and it felt like something from a movie. They met at a premiere while Demi was engaged to actor Emilio Estevez. The chemistry between Demi and Bruce was instant. 4 months later, they were in Las Vegas for a boxing match when Bruce proposed, and they got married on November 21, 1987. It was an impulsive decision, but it worked for a while. They became one of Hollywood's most famous couples. Bruce was becoming a star with Die Hard, and Demi was one of the highest-paid actresses. They had 3 daughters together: Rumor, born in 1988, Scout, born in 1991, and Tallulah, born in 1994. But their busy careers kept them apart a lot, and they had different ideas about family life. Bruce wanted Demi to stay home more, but she was making history, earning $12.5 million for striptease and showing no signs of slowing down. Despite the challenges, they stayed close for many years, even acting together in the movie Mortal Thoughts. However, in 1998, after 11 years of marriage, they decided to separate. Unlike many Hollywood divorces, theirs was surprisingly peaceful. They stayed friends, co-parented their children, and even attended each other's weddings later on. Their blended family became an example of how divorced couples could still support one another. One of Demi's biggest challenges was balancing her career and being a mom.
And the truth is, everything I do is for them. Mm-hmm. It's for my daughters, for my daughter's daughter, and I hope in that same way that translates out also for all women.
When she had Rumor in 1988, she didn't slow down. By 1991, she made headlines when she posed nude while pregnant with Scout on the cover of Vanity Fair. The photo became iconic, showing that being a mom didn't mean she had to hide or feel ashamed of her body. She worked hard to make her career fit with her family life. On the set of G.I. Jane, she even had a nursery built for her youngest daughter. But no matter how much she did, she often felt guilty for not being there enough. After her separation from Bruce, Demi made a huge decision. She left Hollywood and moved to Idaho, wanting her daughters to have a more normal life, away from the spotlight. This decision showed how much she valued being a mom over everything else, even if it meant stepping back from her career. In 2003, Demi met Ashton Kutcher at the premiere of Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle in New York. At the time, Demi was 40 years old, and Ashton was 25. Despite the 15-year age gap, they felt an immediate connection. Demi was immediately attracted to Ashton's charm and sense of humor. Within just one day of meeting, they had an 8-hour phone call where they shared their dreams and talked about their life views. This deep conversation helped shape their fast-growing romance. Only 3 weeks after they met, Ashton had already met Demi's daughters and even her ex-husband, Bruce Willis. Then, in a surprising move, Ashton proposed to Demi after just 2 months of dating. He planned a romantic midnight picnic on the beach in Santa Barbara, where he spelled out "Marry me" with rose petals. The engagement ring was a 5-carat diamond worth $250,000. By the 4th month, they had moved in together and even started their own production company called Catalyst Films. Their first project, Beauty and the Geek, became a hit, confirming their status as a Hollywood power couple. But their relationship faced a heartbreaking challenge when Demi had a miscarriage 6 months into her pregnancy. The loss devastated them both, but they helped each other through the grief by going to counseling 3 times a week for months. Ashton later said this difficult time helped him realize he was ready to become a father, which made their bond even stronger. The media was fascinated by their 15-year age difference, which became a major topic of discussion. When they made their public debut as a couple at the Charlie's Angels premiere, the press went wild. Over 200 photographers crowded the event, and some even offered $100,000 for a photo of them kissing. Late-night comedians and talk shows constantly made jokes about their relationship, and the term cougar became widely used, with Demi often being called its poster child. Despite all the jokes, Demi and Ashton took it all in stride and handled the attention with humor. In 2005, Demi even appeared in a Saturday Night Live skit where she wore old age makeup, poking fun at the obsession with their age difference.
Now to Ashton Kutcher. Ashton opening up about his relationship to Demi Moore and one of the most devastating moments in their marriage.
In September 2005, Demi and Ashton had a private wedding at their Beverly Hills home, with only 100 guests, including Bruce Willis. Demi wore a Lanvin gown, and Ashton wore a cream Brooks Brothers suit. They exchanged vows under a Kabbalah chuppah, reflecting their spiritual beliefs. A touching moment came when Demi's daughters Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah read heartfelt letters to Ashton. Ashton gave each girl a Cartier love bracelet as a symbol of his commitment to their family. Bruce Willis was reportedly moved to tears during the ceremony. After their wedding, Demi and Ashton embraced their blended family life. They bought a home in Idaho where they enjoyed family vacations and hosted themed parties. They often spent time with Bruce Willis, co-parenting smoothly, and even vacationing together as one big extended family. Bruce praised Ashton, saying he was one of the only men his daughters had ever told, "I love you." At just 27 years old, Ashton took on the role of helping raise 3 girls aged 17, 14, and 11. He fully embraced the role, attending school events, cheering for their performances, and even learning how to French braid their hair. Ashton admitted to taking parenting classes to better understand his role as a stepfather. He believed that love doesn't get divided but grows. He encouraged the girls' interests, helping Rumor set up her first Twitter account and producing her film The Whole 10 Yards. Scout credited Ashton with inspiring her love for technology, which led her to study computer science. However, it wasn't always easy. Tallulah later wrote that Ashton's presence confused her at first, as she wasn't sure how to accept him in a fatherly role. Rumor even admitted she had a crush on Ashton before he started dating her mom, which made their relationship even more complicated. Despite these challenges, Ashton stayed close to the girls, even after he and Demi split. He publicly supported Rumor during her Dancing with the Stars performances and celebrated her pregnancy announcement. Years later, in 2020, Ashton said he would always love and support the girls, showing his lasting dedication to the family he helped build. Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher were excited when they found out they were expecting a baby. Demi was 41 years old and 6 months pregnant when, during a routine checkup on September 23, 2003, their joy turned into heartbreak. They found out their baby girl, Chaplin Ray, had no heartbeat. This loss crushed Demi, who had been sober for almost 20 years. She blamed herself, thinking her occasional drinking and smoking early in the pregnancy had caused it. The grief hit her hard, leading to depression, and she began using alcohol and painkillers like Vicodin to numb the pain. Her weight dropped dangerously low to just 98 pounds. The couple tried everything to have another baby, including IVF, but nothing worked. Demi felt even more broken, and in 2019 she described this time as feeling lost and empty, struggling to figure out how to cope. The miscarriage also hurt their marriage. Ashton didn't fully understand Demi's pain. In her memoir Inside Out, She wrote that he tried to support her but couldn't connect with her emotions. This emotional distance grew and started damaging their relationship.
He also reveals that soon after they began dating in 2003, Moore got pregnant with a baby girl who would have been named Chaplin Ray. But 6 months in, Moore suffered a miscarriage.
In a desperate attempt to save their marriage, they tried unusual things. Demi revealed in her memoir that they even had threesomes because Ashton asked for it. She wanted to make him happy, so she went along with it, but it left her feeling ashamed and unsure about their relationship. They also turned to spirituality for help, going to the Kabbalah Center in Los Angeles, and even traveling to Israel for a spiritual retreat. But none of it worked. The pressure to have a baby, Demi's struggles with addiction, and their age gap only made things worse. Things took a turn for the worse when rumors of Ashton cheating surfaced. On their 6th wedding anniversary, September 24, 2011, Ashton reportedly spent the night with a 22-year-old woman, Sarah Lal. Demi had actually seen Sarah before at a bowling alley where she boldly gave Ashton her phone number in front of Demi and her daughter. Demi found out about the affair through a Google alert on her phone while getting ready for a red carpet event. When she confronted Ashton, he admitted to it. Demi said she was so shocked she couldn't breathe. She later learned that Ashton had cheated before with a 21-year-old woman named Brittany Jones. To make it worse, Ashton tried to justify his actions by saying their threesomes had blurred the lines in their relationship. This only deepened Demi's hurt. The cheating became public, making things even harder for Demi. Just days after the scandal broke, they appeared together at an event for their Foundation Against Human Trafficking. Demi had to stand next to Ashton while he spoke, even though she knew what he had done. It was humiliating. On November 17, 2011, Demi announced their separation. She said it was a painful but necessary decision, and that she needed to stay true to her values. The divorce process dragged on for almost 2 years. Ashton officially filed in December 2012, and the divorce was finalized in November 2013. Demi later said that the end of their marriage felt like a nightmare and deeply hurt her self-esteem. Ashton admitted in a 2023 interview that the divorce made him feel like a failure. Both Demi and Ashton struggled to heal, especially with so much of their pain being exposed to the public. After her divorce from Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore's life began to fall apart. She had been sober for almost 20 years, but everything changed, and she fell back into addiction. Things got much worse on January 23, 2012, when Demi had a seizure at a party at her house in Benedict Canyon. She had been smoking synthetic cannabis and inhaling nitrous oxide when someone called 911. They described her as semi-conscious and shaking. It was a scary moment, marking the beginning of a very dark time for Demi. Her addiction worsened over the next 3 years. She started taking up to 12 Vicodin pills every day and drank Red Bull mixed with vodka. Demi also became obsessed with her appearance, spending hours in front of the mirror, convinced she needed to lose more weight. Her health deteriorated, and she weighed only 102 pounds. The combination of stress, exhaustion, and lack of proper food caused her to have more seizures, and she barely held on. During this time, Demi became very isolated. She avoided her family and friends and spent most of her time alone. She missed her daughter Rumer's 30th birthday and stopped showing up for other important family events. In September 2012, Demi finally went to rehab at a luxury center in Utah called Cirque Lodge. It cost $150,000 a month, but it was a crucial step for her recovery. Demi's addiction didn't only hurt her, but it also had a deep impact on her relationship with her 3 daughters, Rumer, Scout, and Tallulah. Things got so bad that Demi and her daughters didn't speak for 3 years. Tallulah, who was only 25 at the time, described how frightening it was. She said it felt like her mom became a different person, almost like a monster. Tallulah remembered feeling anxious whenever Demi's behavior changed, like when her speech slowed or when she became overly affectionate. Tallulah even developed an eating disorder and body image issues due to the stress. Rumer, who was 31, felt angry and heartbroken. She said it felt like her mom's addiction had stolen something precious from her. She also recalled a terrifying moment when she had to call 911 to save her mom's life. Scout, who was 28, felt felt abandoned and believed that her mom didn't love her. Eventually, all three sisters stopped speaking to Demi. In 2012, they didn't even attend her 50th birthday party, and Demi missed important moments in their lives, like Rumor's appearance on Dancing with the Stars. In 2015, things weren't going well between Demi and her daughters, but everything began to change on November 12, 2015. Tallulah, the youngest, had just finished rehab after battling substance abuse and an eating disorder. She decided to reach out to her mom for the first time in nearly 3 years. Demi didn't wait long. She flew to New York immediately to meet her daughter. Rebuilding their relationship wasn't easy. In a 2019 episode of Red Table Talk, the family shared how hard things had been. Tallulah said she felt abandoned. Rumor admitted she used to get panic attacks just thinking about seeing her mom. Scout said she was angry and filled with resentment. Demi took responsibility, admitting that her addiction had hurt her family. She worked hard to fix things by going to therapy and family counseling for 18 months. A big turning point came in 2017 when they spent a week at a retreat in Arizona. They meditated and did activities to help them heal emotionally. Now things are much better between them. They celebrate holidays together, support each other on social media, and even work on projects as a family. For Demi's 60th birthday in 2022, her daughters surprised her with matching tattoos of the word mother in her handwriting. It was a beautiful way to show how close they had become. Demi also stayed close to Bruce Willis after their divorce in 2000. They've shown that divorce doesn't mean the end of family. When Bruce's family shared that he had aphasia in 2022, Demi was one of the first to offer her support. Since then, she spent time with Bruce and his wife, Emma Hemming Willis. In 2023, Demi joined Bruce's family to celebrate his 68th birthday. She even posted a video of everyone singing Happy Birthday, which went viral and showed how strong their bond still was. In 2019, Demi also appeared at Bruce's Comedy Central roast and joked about their past. She said, "I was married to Bruce for the first 3 Die Hard movies, which makes sense because the last 2 sucked." Fans loved seeing how they could laugh about their history. They also supported each other's new relationships. Demi attended Bruce's wedding to Emma in 2009, and Bruce went to Demi's wedding to Ashton Kutcher in 2005. Their kids have appreciated how their parents have stayed respectful and loving. Rumor once said that having divorced parents who still care about each other was the best example of love she could have. At 62, Demi's views on love have completely changed. In an interview for Vogue in 2024, she said she's learned that the most important relationship is the one she has with herself. She doesn't need anyone to complete her because she feels whole on her own. She even came up with a term for her new lifestyle: solo partnering. It means focusing on her own growth and happiness without looking for a romantic partner, but being open to love if it comes. This idea became so popular that solo partnering started trending online after the interview. Demi's approach to dating is also different now. In the past year, she only went on 3 dates, all carefully chosen. One was with an astrophysicist she met at a TED Talk. They went stargazing in the Mojave Desert. Demi said it wasn't romantic, but it was an unforgettable experience because it was so meaningful. Surprisingly, Demi has also become friends with Ashton Kutcher's wife. They even started a book club together and meet every 2 weeks to talk about books and life. Fans love how mature and forgiving Demi has become. As for the future, Demi hasn't ruled out love, but now she's clear about what she wants. If she falls for someone, it will be someone who adds to her life, not someone she feels she needs to be complete. And they absolutely must love her dog, Poff, who is a little Instagram star with over 2 million followers.